Hey man, what's good? It's Midnight Marauder again, and let's just get right into it. Blood West is described as a classic stealth FPS game, a boomer shooter adjacent, if you will. Developed by Hyperstrange and published by New Blood Interactive, and released in 2023, it has a tagline for classic stealth gameplay, but I personally find that the stealth after a certain point becomes completely optional, and the gameplay loop itself is more akin to a stalker game, with some of the RPG elements, and where the stealth begins and ends with you choosing the first victim before a gunfight ensues. Lore. Blood West takes place in an alternative reality where during the Wild West and Gold Rush periods in American history were going on, all the blood and gold started coming with heavy consequences. Cursed gold started corrupting people's minds, causing mass psychosis and fueling raids, mayhem, and murder. This had a feedback loop as all the bodies of the victims started, getting back up, possessed by cursed souls from the other side, and they started causing their own amounts of chaos and destruction. To pile on top of that, in this reality, monsters, cryptids, ghosts, and ghouls are real, and because they smell blood in the water, they too joined in on the fun. Now, most of the western frontier is an active war zone / summoning circle of hunters, bounty hunters, treasure hunters, and revenants versus undead, hordes from hell, and eldritch abominations and horrors. You play as a revenant, brought back by an amalgamation of souls for the express purpose of exterminating as many monsters as you can, for however long as you can, until your mind and body give out and break apart. But don't worry, your Beyond the Grave benefactor has the power to put you back together, no matter how badly you're shattered. However, therapy sessions for your mental state are extra. A little bit before the events of the game, your character got it blown smooth off, but before his corpse could rise back up and join the legions of the dead, a passing shaman found his corpse and tried his best to give his soul a proper send-off. While he succeeded in making sure you didn't join the undead horde, he unfortunately didn't anticipate that another entity would take interest. In his past life, the Revenant was some kind of outlaw and gunslinger. He must now get a handle on his previous skills and shake off the stiffness of rigor mortis, because now that he's the Totem of Soul's personal bounty hunter, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. Gameplay. As previously mentioned, the game boasts sneaking around and clicking on heads. This will very much be the case in Chapter 1, especially in the early game. However, it will get to a point in the middle to the late game where you have enough resources and you're significantly geared that you can just start walking it down mid with reckless abandon.
But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces?
My guns.
Oh. Hi.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
The Totem of Souls will be your primary point of quest and information, and will give you tons of lore and info on the current area should you choose to ask. The game runs on a quest system with quest givers usually doubling as shopkeepers to help you stay supplied. Quests do a good job of pushing you to explore the various maps, which have many different points of interest to explore, with various pockets and zones to look at along the way. Following quest lines will lead you from points A, B, and C across the map, and the current chapter you're playing, of which there are 3, each ending with their own boss fight. Chapter 1 looks and feels like your standard apocalyptic cowboy setting. You've got a destroyed town with a rundown saloon, monster-fied gunslingers, and ancient native burial grounds filled with horrors from the other side that would love to snack on your insides. Chapter 2 sharply replaces the Wild West-looking desert zone with a swampy biome and trades in Birdman gunslingers and Wendigoons for crazed, skin-taking swamp people, alligator mutants, and bloatmax and cultists that fire leeches from their hands.
How about I take my motherfucking goddamn covenant, chase you down, you're running. You see a bunch of us in black cloaks running towards you. You see me in a gold cloak. Big, tall, muscular, evil-ass motherfucker running at you.
Chapter 3 takes us to a mining community in the mountains and gives us even more horrors from beyond to contend with. But by then, anyone playing should be well acquainted with the game. Just make sure you pay close attention to your surroundings. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. There is a barely visible creature barreling towards you. At this point, I should mention there are in-game notes for you to find that give you detailed information on creatures you'll be encountering. I recommend you actually pay attention to some of them instead of just writing them off as lore blurbs, or else you'll find yourself turning an enemy into a pincushion and wondering why they haven't died after you put a 15th crossbow bolt into their nasal cavity.
Breathtaking, aren't I?
Gone.
Reading these notes will also give you an idea of how you should deal with these creatures and certain enemies in the game by giving you insight of what you should look out for when dealing with them, either using different ammo types or if they have any attack to look out for, or if you have anything to worry about once you've actually dispatched them.
He could only have gotten that idea from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Here's a tip from me for the early game. If you see a Wendigo before it sees you and you have a stick of dynamite handy, light that thing up and throw it at their feet. You're welcome.
He could only have gotten that idea from Benjamin Netanyahu. That's it.
Over the course of the game, you'll of course be collecting better weapons, but you'll also be finding various
artifacts,
of which you can equip 3 at a time. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Some
artifacts
can be absolute game changers or enhance your personal gameplay style, while others are so worthless from an equipment standpoint that the minute you pick it up, it's best if you just sell it to the nearest vendor. Some are like a stack. Some are cursed and can't be removed unless you reach certain conditions or die. The way I played the game, I kept going back from playing as if I was a native shadow dancer, attacking from the shadows and disappearing as quickly as I appeared, to fanning the hammer at anything that moved like I was playing Red Dead Revolver or like I was a drunk Doc Holliday impersonator.
And you, music lover, you're next.
Drunk piano player. You're so drunk you can't hit nothing. In fact, you're probably seeing double.
I have 2 guns, 1 for each of you.
Destroyed.
This is also a good time to mention that this is one of the few games where liquor and being egregiously drunk in-game actually buffs your abilities. I also ended up drunk fighting a Wendigo with a dull kitchen knife. Needless to say, I won. One of the quests in the first chapter involves getting belligerently drunk, talking to various sentient cacti, and in the end being rewarded with an infinite flask to fuel your alcohol addiction. Speaking of quests, for the horror and doom and gloom setting of this game, it does have some fun quest bits and Easter eggs. One lets you decide if you want to help a skinned horror slip into a new set of skin. And no, you can't fix her, don't try. But there is one in Chapter 2 that was a complete no-brainer. Minor spoilers here, but you have the option to either save the life of a failed priest with alcohol addiction that just moments before you found him was risking his life to acquire some moonshine equipment, who may or may not have also led his entire congregation astray, or a thick southern belle who was holding it down by herself during a pseudo-apocalypse that will often tell you sweet nothings and give you a discount from her shop, of which she has the biggest inventory in the chapter. Yeah, I'm going to go with the shotgun-toting country girl. Country girls make do.
Still here? You're free to go for now. Or do you need anything? If not, leave us to our thoughts.
I'm sorry, Totem of Souls, were you saying something? She also has a short fuse and her personality can change at a moment's notice. Beware.
Look what you've done. Your deeds have caused another death. I hope you're happy with yourself.
What?
Look who it is. My favorite undead in the flesh.
I beg your pardon! The game also features a leveling system with a perk tree that, with good planning and build ideas, will let you snowball into a very hard-to-handle gun-toting maniac for your enemies to have to deal with by the end of the game. There's also an Easter egg later in the game that makes it to where you can basically have every perk in the game, but you can explore that for yourself later. There are plenty of weapons to choose from besides your standard guns. There's a good collection of melee weapons should you choose to engage in up-close and personal gameplay, while also giving you bows and crossbows that will help you keep things nice and quiet. My personal favorite weapon is the chain pistol you find in Chapter 3. It goes very well with the Fan the Hammer perk, and I like to keep it handy for close encounters. It does, however, take a while to reload if you don't keep track of ammo. However, I love my kitchen gun. Now, I have a Goopy Goblin gamer brain, and my hierarchy of what makes a game good is gameplay, story, graphics. The gameplay loop of exploring and finding hidden items and secrets and clicking on heads and landing critical shots on my enemies feels very rewarding to me. So if you have a similar Goopy Goblin gamer brain condition similar to mine, I'm sure you'll also have a great time. The story is serviceable enough, and if you're a lore head, there's plenty of in-game notes and journal entries to find and read through. The graphics have a nice constant style, and there's a nice little detail of your enemy's heads exploding when you land a critical shot as a killing blow. Dying in-game also has the consequences of slowly applying curses to you in-game, but as long as you have access to lean, you can easily get rid of this. Just make sure you pick up those purple potion bottles whenever you see them. I don't consider Blood West a difficult game. I accidentally got an achievement in Chapter 1 for not dying throughout its entirety, which I didn't realize was a thing until I got it, but death is around every corner, and if you aren't paying attention, or you get blindsided, or overestimate yourself, you will end up in hot water.
That's how you know when you're trash.
Suggestion: add dual wielding to the game. Let me put 2 different weapons of the same type in either weapon slot and let me dual wield them. Hyper Strange allowed me to become 2 Guns Tommy, and my life is yours. Criticism: while Chapter 1 and 3 fit the overall Western feel, Chapter 2 sort of sticks out like a sore thumb visually. Also in Chapter 2, the Cursed Gold plotline from Chapter 1 kind of trails off and dies, and in Chapter 3, it's barely mentioned at all. Overall, the plot kind of stalls while your new undead friend takes the driver's seat for the main quest over the Totem of Souls. Needless to say, this isn't bad by any means, it's just something I noticed. The story kind of gets rocky, but they still managed to stick the landing in Chapter 3. Finally, I have over 16 hours on record in this game, so suffice to say, I give it 2 big irons up. I think that the game is well worth the asking price and also frequently goes on sale via Steam and is often bundled with other games. Currently, a Steam sale is going on right now and the game's on sale, so I think you should give it a chance. The game also has a DLC chapter where you play as another character, giving a different perspective of the game, and also has a scavengers game mode which plays similar to a roguelike with each death having you play a different character. I haven't played much of this game mode because I'm not a big fan of roguelikes and their temporary progress gains, which is why I have 117 hours in Slay the Spire and almost 80 in Slay the Spire 2. Roguelike games vex me and irritate me to no end. I have A10 on every character, so now running normal runs feels like a punishment mode until they add more content. I'm stuck waiting for dailies to refresh. I can't stop playing them, and that's why roguelikes are bad for my health. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for the reception on my previous video. I was only expecting 100 or so views and have been completely blown away by the results. I love yapping about video games, and movies, and comics, and manga, anime, you name it. So to see so many people tell me they enjoyed the Yap session was great. So genuinely, thank you to everyone who watched the video, shared it, liked it, and left a comment. An even bigger thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel, helping me fly past the 500 subscriber milestone. You're all wonderful and amazing people. If you enjoyed this video, also please remember to like this one and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully, there's more Yap sessions to come soon. Now, if you excuse me, I have another Slay the Spire run to lose because the moment the enemy decides to strike, I'm going to draw nothing but attack cards for the 5th time in a row. Bye now.